Hi, my name's Lisa. Welcome to class. This will be a slow flow class suitable for all levels. If you have a yoga block or a book or some kind of prop, I sometimes joke maybe a small child, you might want to use that just to help you when you sit and maybe in some of the shapes. So if you have a prop or block, then you might like to go ahead and sit up on that now. So part of my self-care practice at the moment is intentionally seeking out stories about people spreading kindness and care in the world. Because, right now more than ever, we're reading and learning so many things that are hurting and hardening our heart. And so we have to balance this with reading and seeking out things that soften and soothe our heart. And so yesterday I came across this story about a woman who started a compassion project called 1000 Hearts. And she started it several years ago. And the premise of this project was she would knit these little felt hearts and then send them out to people who were going through tough times. And the people who received these hearts reported to her that it offered them like comfort and hope and love when they felt really alone. And so within about 12 months, this 1000 Heart project spread, and I believe there's now like 10,000 people worldwide that are making these felt hearts and sending them out to people going through challenging time. And so this woman, the founder, she shared yesterday that she started to have a little crisis of confidence earlier this year around the bushfire crisis. She was seeing such wide and horror, such significant grief and suffering. She started to feel like, how's a little felt heart going to actually make a difference to the magnitude of suffering that she was seeing? And then the interview cut to a bushfire survivor who had lost everything in the fires, and he'd received one of these felt hearts. And he shared that receiving the heart, it made him feel like he's not alone. The people care about him and what he's gone through, and what a difference that made to his feeling of overall well-being and comfort. They then interviewed a volunteer firefighter who'd been at the front line, fighting these bushfires. And she shared that when she received her felt heart, she actually put it in her shirt pocket, so the felt heart actually sat in front of her own heart. And it represented to her that people care, that she's not in this alone, and that she really has the support of the whole of the nation and really the whole of the world. And I was really moved when I was listening to these stories about these felt hearts, because for myself, I often feel overwhelmed by the magnitude of the suffering in the world, and especially right now. I feel like, what could I possibly do that will help people with what they're going through? But this story reminded me that small acts of kindness do make a difference. And we don't have to think about how we can change the world, but how we can actually make a difference to the people that are right in front of us. Whether it's like smiling at a stranger, picking up the phone and calling someone that we know might be going through a tough time, or just asking someone how they're doing. Like these little small acts of kindness, they ripple out and they remind us that there's goodness in this world. And that gives us comfort and hope and courage. And I think more than ever, we need that right now. So please go ahead and close your eyes. I'm just going to spend about another minute in meditation before we slowly start to move. So if you're comfortable in a seat, feel free to stay in a seat, or you're welcome to come and lie on your back. The moral of the story is choose a position that just feels comfortable. And allow yourself to settle into stillness. Against the backdrop of stillness, now sensing the movement of breath. Feeling the rising breath filling and swelling the body. The out breath, a letting go, a softening breath. And just continuing like that. You might like to deepen and widen the breath. Maybe a few exhalations out of the mouth. And just using that rhythm of breath as a way now to gather and collect the attention. It's as if the body was this really beautiful vase. And with every breath now, just starting to pour yourself back into yourself. Now focusing attention specifically through your own heart space right now. Feeling breath received at the heart. And if it would help you to connect to your own heart, you could place one or both hands over your own heart right now. And if you're doing that, you might like to vary the touch just a little so that it feels real and so that it feels kind. You're getting this sense that your heart could actually receive your breath. And you could ask your heart now, what is it that matters most? What is it that my heart really longs for in this moment? And then listen. It might be to experience more peace, more love, to feel more connection. Really feeling and listening to what it is that matters most to your heart. And we can start to deepen and widen that heart's wish so that it now becomes a wish for all beings. And may all beings experience more peace, more connection, more love. Whatever it is that your heart longs for, let that wish extend to include all people. We use our yoga practice as a way to deepen into and invite in that deepest heart wish. If your hands are to your heart very slowly, you can return hands to lap or thighs. If you've been lying on your back, please slowly return to a seat. From a seat, as you feel ready, let the eyes really gently reopen, keeping the gaze soft and spacious. So begin to just slowly warm up the body. And taking some circles with the shoulders now. And you can start in either direction. I'm laughing because my shoulders are very creaky right now. So you might just notice what are the little sounds and creaks your shoulders are making. And you might be moving just the shoulders, or you might like to bring the fingertips to the shoulders so you start to move more of the whole apparatus of the arm. And as you keep motion through shoulders, noticing if the jaw feels a little tight. Maybe you start to take a little bit of movement through the jaw. Even move the neck a little from side to side. So we're not just going through the motion, we're really using the motion as a way to invite more ease and peace into the body. And as you're ready, you'll reverse, going some rounds in the other way. Know that you can exhale out of the mouth at any time, just as a way to drop deeper into softness and ease. That's it. And then making the circle smaller until eventually we come back into stillness. And you can let the hands rest back to the thighs. Now start to shrug the shoulders up and down. This can be slow, or you might start to move a little bit faster. And as you keep some movement, take a deep breath in, slide out the mouth. 3 more times. And then eventually stillness. That's it. Just a moment to feel body, breath, and attention all come online together now. Please meet me in a tabletop position over on hands and knees. And as you come over to hands and knees, as the hands connect to the earth, really feeling earth rippling through the body. Let the top of the head droop down towards the mat. You feel the head really heavy like a bowling ball. And feeling that sense of ease and release through the back of the neck. And then keeping that as you next inhale, let the belly drop as the heart reaches forwards and arch. And then rounding on the breath out, belly to spine, chin to chest. Again, inhale to arch, let the heart pull you forwards. Rounding breath out, back of heart lifts up into space. And we'll just keep going like that. And rather than having the chin or the eyes initiate the movement, you let the features of the face soften completely as you feel the space of the heart be what moves you. Really pouring yourself into the motion. So we're going to stay a little longer like this on hands and knees. You might continue to arch and round the spine in this linear kind of way. Or maybe you start to feel the body wanting to move in more undulating, non-linear kinds of ways. You might begin to notice where there's hard edges or tightness in the body. Can you start to meet that with softness? It's this feeling of, rather than you doing the movement, simply allowing the movement. Can allow whatever you're feeling in this moment, whether it's physical sensation in the body, whether it's emotion or thoughts, just allowing whatever is here right now to be translated and expressed out into motion. As our bodies have a built-in stress and tension release function that really gets activated when we just let the body move in this surrendered, unstructured way. And staying in a tabletop position, please step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. And so this is a block moment. So if the ground feels a little far away, you could place your hands on a block or book or whatever else you have. And we're going to continue to move a little here. So you could start to bend and then re-straighten the left leg. You could swivel the hips from side to side. You might even explore some movement through the neck and the head, like the neck and the head were limbs, just like arms and legs. Perhaps sensing the kind of freedom that gives you in the movement. Slowly rebend the left knee. So the right hand stays to the mat or a block, and in fact I'll bring a block underneath my hand, and on an inhale, left arm really gently unravels up through space. You can let the back of the body soften back into space. So this feeling of the body being supported. This is a perfect place to stay, or now reach the left arm back, bend the right knee, left hand to the pinky toe side of the right foot. If you're taking this bind, really pressing the foot away, the heart gently spinning up into space. Take a nourishing breath in. Slow release breath out, left hand comes back to the floor, left knee steps back. I'm just taking a few moments to move through the hips and the pelvis. Then we come to the other side as you're ready, stepping the right foot outside of right hand. Again, option for a block underneath the hands. And then some moments here to just set the body into motion. Feel the head of the right thigh bone just kind of sliding and gliding in and around its home of socket. You might notice if this side feels a little different to the left. And then slowly rebending that right knee, option for a block underneath the left hand. On an inhale, right arm unravels through space. You can let the joint space of right elbow and right fingertips relax. And you'll either stay and breathe here, or now the right arm reaches back, bending the left knee, right hand to the pinky toe blade of the back foot. Really pressing the foot away, broadening through right collarbone, the arm bone and the scapula. Good, nourishing breath in. Very slow release breath out. We'll come back to hands and knees, a tabletop position. And keeping the palms grounded into the earth, curl the toes under. And just hover the knees off the floor a few breaths here. Feeling the back of the heart magnetize into space that's above you. And then it's downward facing dog. Sliding the hips back, downward facing dog. So for those of you that are newer to yoga, the hands are about shoulders distance apart, the feet are about hips distance apart. And it's this feeling of really pushing the earth away with the hands. I'll get everyone to lift their heels up and then bend the knees a lot and start to spiral the thighs back and apart so the sit bones lift towards the back of the room. And then keeping that length through the spine, you can start to straighten the legs a little. But for almost everyone, the heels will stay a little lifted and the knees soft. Take a few more breaths here. You might be in stillness or there might be some movement here, perhaps pedaling out the legs. You could lift both heels, bend both knees and swivel the hips a little from side to side. And then eventually stillness. At the end of your next exhalation, please step the feet to the top of the mat. So you could take one big step, you could take several steps. Please have your feet about hips distance apart, let the knees be soft. Now interlace hands into opposite elbows. And the knees are bent enough so you start to feel the nectar of your heart pouring all the way out through the column of the neck. And then again, all the way out through the skull. It might feel nice to take just a little bit of undulation movement here. And staying folded, slowly unclasp hands. Hands come to shins or the mat. Please lengthen just halfway on the in-breath. And then release to the earth as you breathe out. 2 more times, inhale from sacrum to skull, get long. Whole body dripping to earth, breath out. 1 more time, inhale, heart leads, face follows. Yielding on the out breath. Pressing through feet, inhale, arms slowly lift up, like you were channeling earth through the body. As you exhale, palms meet at heart center. We'll take some slow rounds of sun salutation together. As the soles of the feet soften downwards, and inhale to float 2 arms up. As you exhale, folding over the legs, let the heart lead the way down. A halfway lift on the in-breath. You step back into a plank pose as you breathe out, on the top of a push-up. I'm going to bring my knees down just so I can continue to talk and do yoga, but you're welcome to keep the knees lifted. As the palms press into the earth, back of heart, back of head, lifting up into space. Take a luscious breath in, and then lower all the way to belly, breath out. Extend the sit bones back to the heels. And inhale, cobra. So pelvis stays grounded, heart gently lifts up. Forehead back to ground, breath out. 2 more times, inhale, back of heart leads. And then like a waterfall back to earth, breath out. 1 more time, inhale. Releasing as you breathe out. Come back first through hands and knees, and you can either stay hands and knees or downward facing dog. And downward facing dog, feeling the forearms gently hug towards each other as the upper arms rotate away from the ears. that allows for a broadening through the back of the heart. And then keeping that, can you now let the back of the neck release? The end of your exhalation, please step, or you can lightly float to the top of the mat. Allow the in-breath to rebound the spine forwards. Exhale the ground as you fold. Push through the feet, inhale, 2 arms float up. Back to heart, breath out. Do that 2 more times, inhale. Folding breath out. Breath just dripping down the spine. A halfway lift as you inhale. Step back into plank as you breathe out. The knees can be on or off the floor. Take a generous breath in. And then lower breath out. Cobra just 1 time as you inhale. And then we meet back in a downward facing dog as you breathe out. And as you stay and take some breaths in downward facing dog, feeling the inhale traveling from hands and feet all the way up to the heart. As you exhale, heart releases down through arms and legs. Again, inhaling hands and feet up to heart. Exhale, heart down through the limbs. End of that breath, step or lightly float to the top. A halfway lift, breath in. Body bowing on the out breath. Rising up, inhale. And pausing back at heart. That 1 more time, inhale. Releasing breath out, like a moving meditation. Heart ripples forwards, inhale. Step into plank as you breathe out. And taking a full breath in. And that out breath lowers you. You inhale, curl up, heart lifts up through the canopy of the head, but equally back down through the legs. And then where we meet is in downward facing dog. Starting to get this sense of heart energy pouring through every part of the body with every shape. Staying in downward dog, inhale the nose, side out the mouth. 1 more breath in, big release, breath out. With that breath, step or float to the top. In breath to lengthen and exhale to fold. Rooting down to rise up, inhale, let the arms float up. And then back to heart, breath out. As you inhale, arms lift up, like the arms were moving through nectar. Yes, and then dripping over the legs, breath out. Heart ripples forwards on the inhale. Refold as you exhale. Please step your left foot really slowly to the back of the mat. Lower the knee down, untuck the toes, arms to sky as you inhale, Anjaneyasana. You might want to walk the right foot a little further forward so the knee about in line with the ankle. The inner thighs gently hug together, but now where can you soften? Maybe it's the inside of the mouth. As you breathe out, hands to the floor, framing the front foot, hamstring stretch. Shifting the hips back in line with the left knee, right toes lift off the mat. Take an inhale to lengthen spine, and then exhale, gently pouring yourself over the right leg. If your hamstring feels really tight, you could keep that right knee bent. You could have hands to 1 or 2 blocks. You could also have a nap. I won't know. Take 2 more breaths here. Next inhale, rebend the right knee, plant the foot in the hands. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. You might be in stillness, or it might feel nice to just take a little bit of motion here. And as you keep all 10 fingers evenly present to your mat, please inhale the left leg up and back, a 3-legged dog. And we'll stay and take a few breaths here. Really feeling the muscles of the left leg hugging to bone. So another breath in. To the nose, breath out. Shoulders move forwards. And then you'll gaze forwards. Step the left foot in between the hands. And you can use the left hand to help you. Lower the right knee down, untuck the toes. As you inhale, arms rebound through space. Feeling the neck and the head balancing really effortlessly on the very top of spine. As you breathe out, hands to the mat, framing the front foot, shifting the hips back, that hamstring stretch. And inhale to lengthen. As you exhale, pouring yourself over the left leg. Feeling the head heavy like a bowling ball towards the left toes. And as you next inhale, slowly rebend the left knee, plant the foot. Curl the right toes under, lift the right knee up. Gaze forwards, right foot steps forwards. We meet in a forward fold. A moment to just allow the whole spine to release. And then using an in-breath to inflate the spine and the out-breath to fold. Pressing through feet, inhale, arms all the way. Just pausing back at heart, breath out. And start to get this feeling of heart being like home base. This place that we just pause and gather and collect the attention. And as you're ready, again on an in-breath, allow the arms to float up like they began from the heart. And then folding over the legs as you breathe out. In-breath to lengthen and inflate. Out breath to fold, stepping the right foot slowly back. Knee lowers, toes untuck, two arms slide up. And just take a few moments to really arrive here. And this practice of arriving is not something that we do just one time, but this choice, moment to moment, how to be in the moment. And as you feel yourself sufficiently settled in this shape, please now bring the palms to meet at heart center. We'll add on a twist. As you inhale, lengthen forwards. Exhale, right elbow outside of left knee. And you can use the gentle pressing of the palms to feel the whole spine extend forwards. Let the belly be soft and the breath deep. Exhale, hands to the mat, downward facing dog. And if you wish to move through that flow, you can. Otherwise, you just come straight into a downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, as you drink in your next inhale, right leg slides up and back, a three-legged dog. We'll stay and breathe here. The outer right hip wrapping towards the earth. Take another breath in. Knee to nose, breath out, puff up through the back. Gaze forwards, quietly step between the hands. Left knee lowers as two arms slide up. Feeling the whole body breathing here. You can notice if you're kind of pitching the face forwards or feeling the face leading, and you imagine the front of the face softening and the back of the head being held by space behind you. This feeling of settling back into yourself. And then keeping that, the palms meet in front of heart. Inhale to lengthen, spinning to right breath out, left elbow hooking. From the core of your pelvis, can you extend all the way out through the top of head? And next, exhale, hands to the floor, framing the right foot. Curl the left toes under, knee lifts up. Gaze forwards, left foot meets the right, a forward fold. Allow the whole spine to release. A halfway lift, breath in. Whole apparatus of spine releases, breath out. Arms reach up, inhale. Moment to pause back at heart. And to orientate weight into the right foot, coming into tree pose with the left. So standing on the right foot, and the left foot can either be upper thigh, can be calf, it could also be ankle. So if balance feels a little challenged, like it does for me right now, you can keep foot to ankle. Take a few breaths here. The sole of the right foot softens down into earth. Earth channels up through the column of the right leg, up through the spine, all the way out through the top of head. As an inhale to lift the arms up, left knee points forwards, high crescent lunge breath out. They're really feeling the moment that earth catches the left toes, and then follow that line of energy all the way out through the arms and the top of their head. Begin to feel the presence and the resonance of your breath. Feel the entire body. A deep breath in. Warrior 2, breath out. So the left heel spins to the earth, right knee bending in line with the right ankle. Then notice if you're kind of hyperextending and locking the elbows and the fingers, notice what happens if you just soften that a little. For those of you that have done yoga with me before, you know I often refer to the arms and the hands as like the tendrils of the heart, because our arms and our hands grew from our heart. As you stay and breathe here, and imagine that the way that the hands are interfacing with space right now is actually heart energy interfacing with the world. Just keep the bend into the right knee, right palm to the sky. We reverse on the inhale. Just have the gaze in any way that feels really easeful and spacious for the neck. You can feel the tactile touch of breath moving up and down the whole right side of the body. As you breathe out, a modified side angle, right forearm, right thigh. Left arm reaches over the ear. And notice if you're leaning forwards, can you have this sense of the body resting back into space? The back of the head held by space behind you. Soft breath in. 2 hands to the floor, breath out. Spin onto the ball of the left foot. Left hand stays grounded, right arm to sky, open twist. I'm going to give lots of options here. So you're very welcome to bring the back knee down. Or, option for a side plank, Vashisthasana. Come onto the outer blade of the left foot as you extend the right leg long. You can now reach the top arm over the ear. Really sensing neck lengthen as if it began from heart center. As you exhale, right hand reconnects to earth. It's a downward facing dog. I should probably demonstrate child's pose in case anyone doesn't know, and mainly so I get a rest for a moment. If you'd like to rest at any point, then coming down, knees can be together or wide, and then just letting the arms stretch forwards. So either in child's pose or downward facing dog, let's take 3 deep soft breaths. We'll meet back together in a downward facing dog. Letting the inside of the mouth be soft, even the gums and the lips. At the end of your exhalation, please step or lightly float to the top. As you land there, in-breath rebounding you. Exhale, grounding you as you fold. Arms to sky on the inhale. Again, this sweet moment to pause back at heart as you exhale. Now shifting weight into the left foot, coming to tree pose. So you might have the right foot to ankle, it could be calf, it could be the upper thigh. The only place we don't want the foot is over the knee joint. And the hands to heart. It's a sense of the shoulders just floating in space. The neck and the head balancing so effortlessly on the top of spine. And inhale, arms up, right knee points forwards. High lunge, breath out, like you were pushing space back with the right foot as the toes land, continuing that line of earth energy through the whole of the body. So for sure, the muscles are engaged, the inner thighs hug together, But where can you soften? Yeah, maybe it's the back of the neck. Maybe it's the jaw. But it's a practice to intentionally re-relax muscles. As we invite the body into softness, it makes it easier to orientate to goodness. It's Warrior 2 on the out-breath. So grounding the right foot to the floor. Left knee bends in line with the ankle. Again, the legs are strong and steady, but let the apparatus of the heart, otherwise known as the arms and the hands, soften just a little. Left palm to sky, reverse, and we'll soak a few breaths here. A modified side angle breath out, left forearm, left thigh. Right arm reaches over the ear. As you feel the shoulders soften away from the ears, allow the neck to now reach out through the shoulders. As you exhale, hands to the mat, right heel to the sky, left arm slowly unfurls through space. Again, you could bring the right knee down, or Vashisthasana, outer blade of the right foot, left leg on top. And you can now reach the top arm over the ear. And really luxuriating in this feeling of stretch and space through the whole left side of body. As you exhale, left hand connects to the floor. We meet in a downward facing dog. And deep breath in, side out. Again, inhale. Letting something go on the out breath. And then from a downward dog, we're coming to lie on our back. So you could just bring the knees down and cross over the ankles. The moral of the story is come and lie on your back and bring both knees into chest. And just take a moment as you arrive onto your back. A sense of the weight of the earth really supporting and holding the whole weight of you. If you haven't already, starting to take a little bit of movement now across the lower back. Rather than the hands interlaced, it might be nice to have the hands separate so you have even more space to just explore movement here. Notice if there's a feeling of clenching or gripping in the belly. And what would it be like for this next breath to be received into a soft belly? And this breath. Just keeping that softness, please return the feet to the floor. I'm setting up for bridge pose. And the feet are about hips distance apart, and you might want to walk the heels back towards you a little. And as you press through the feet and the hands, inhale, start to lift lower back, middle back, the upper back. So for this round, we'll keep the arms alongside body. As the sit bones reach forwards to the knees, can you also feel length through the arms, from the armpits to the fingertips all the way back up to the shoulders. And just big breath in. Start to lower breath out, upper, middle, lower, the sacrum. This moment of really relishing in the feeling of earth catching you. Take a few moments of pause. You might like to walk the feet wide and bring the knees together. Could reach the arms wide side to side. You might stay in stillness with the knees knocking in, or you could gently let the knees fall from side to side. We'll do one more round of bridge pose. Bringing the feet back to about hips width, the arms back alongside body. And the heels walk back. You might not be able to touch the heels, but just in that general direction. And on an inhale, lifting lower, middle, upper back. For this round, option to now interlace the hands underneath you and coming onto the tips of the shoulders and keeping the joint space of the elbows soft. Letting breath be received through the space of the heart, the in-breath, the out-breath. Take 3 more breaths. Releasing the bind and very slowly rolling down. Keeping the left knee bent and the left foot to the mat, go ahead and hug the right knee into chest. Now you'll interlace the hands behind the back of the right hamstring as you stretch the right foot up towards the ceiling. You can gently press the hamstring into the hands and the hands really sweetly press back. And now rebend the right knee, bring it back into chest, coming into a figure 4 shape. So cross the right shin on top of the left knee, the right knee widening to right. You could stay like this, or now lift the left foot up as you thread the hands through the left leg, bringing the whole package of the legs in towards you. You might be in stillness, or it could feel nice to just rock a little from side to side. And from here, we're coming into an open belly twist. So keeping the cross of the right shin, but unclasp the hands, left foot comes back to the mat, arms wide, side to side, let both legs fall to the right. And if it feels too much to have the cross of the foot, feel free to just release that now. Gaze can be to ceiling, or very mindfully, you'll offer the left ear towards the ground. Three more slow, soothing breaths. Making your way back to center, hugging the knees back in. You can take a little bit of motion between sides. And then that short sequence on the other side. Keeping the left knee and right foot to the floor. Just so you know, the other side is always code for, I forgot the side, but that won't work online because you guys can't look at anyone. Left side, to interlace their hands behind the left hamstring. And rather than pulling the leg in towards you, you're actually pressing the leg away. And then rebending the knee, draw it back in. This figure 4 shape. So left shin crosses on top of right knee, and you might keep the right foot to the floor or lift the foot up as you thread the hands through the leg. And from here we come back into that open belly twist. So releasing the hands, right foot back to the mat, arms wide side to side, legs gently fall to the left. An option to very sweetly gaze to the right. Feeling the back of the shoulders release into ground. There's 3 more breaths. And as you're ready, coming back to meet with the knees into chest, you might stay here for a few breaths, or happy baby pose. And that could be either holding the outer blades of the feet, it could be the ankles, or even like behind the thighs. It might feel nice to rock a little from side to side. And as you're ready, we'll come into Shavasana together, a final rest. So if you have any layers of clothing to put on or blankets so that you're warm enough, please do so. And then we're coming to lie on our backs. And as you come onto your back, really giving yourself permission to just take up as much space as you need. And I really encourage you to stay in Shavasana. This will be a short one together. Letting the legs and the feet be wide. If your arms are very close to your sides, maybe you experiment with the arms just a little wider away. letting all of the muscles relax. Allow your bones to get heavy. The features of your face soft. You can imagine now the back bottom teeth moving and softening away from the upper teeth. And the top upper teeth lifting up and away from the back teeth. Feeling that quality of ease and release through the jaw, the back of the mouth. Allowing the whole body to rest. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Allow your next breath to be a little bit deeper. If you have the time to stay longer in Shavasana and you'd like to, then please do so. Otherwise, as you feel ready, you can invite some really gentle movement back in, reawakening through fingers and toes. Eventually you can bend the knees and roll to one side and take some final moments in a fetal-like position. You can use the underarm as like a pillow to support your head. These final moments of practice, really allowing yourself to feel really supported, really nourished by your own presence. And we'll meet back together in a seat. As you come into a seat, you could either bring the hands to a prayer position in front of the heart. You might like to bring both of your hands directly over your heart. Or there might be some other kinds of touch that would feel really kind and really soothing. And so we complete with one of my favorite quotes that comes from Mother Teresa. She says that we can't all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. And so to all the small acts of kindness happening around us, that offer us comfort and hope and courage. And gently bow. Namaste.